The call that changed everything came on a Tuesday morning, right after I discovered the texts on Todd's phone. I remember standing in our kitchen, our perfect granite-countered kitchen that we'd renovated together last spring, staring at his unlocked phone while my coffee grew cold. "Hey baby, can't wait to see you tonight. Mara's working late again, so we'll have plenty of time." My hands trembled as I scrolled through hundreds of messages between my husband and my best friend Peyton. 3 years of friendship, weekend brunches, and shared vacations, all while they laughed behind my back. I'm Mara, and this is how I learned that karma works in mysterious ways. "Mara, are you still there?" The voice on my phone pulled me back to reality. It was Connor from business development at Maxwell Corp, where I'd interviewed last week. "Yes, sorry," I cleared my throat. "I'm here." "Great news. The VP position is yours if you want it. We need someone with your expertise in digital transformation." I glanced at Todd's phone again, at the evidence of my collapsing marriage. "When can I start?" "That's what I like to hear. Monday work for you?" Before I could respond, I heard Todd's key in the front door. "I'll call you back in 5 minutes, Connor." Todd walked in, all 6 feet of handsome betrayal in an expensive suit. "Hey, honey, you're home early." He froze when he saw his phone in my hand. "Looking for this?" I held it up, my voice steadier than I felt. "Peyton must be wondering why you haven't responded to her good morning text." The color drained from his face. "Mara, I can explain." "Save it." I tossed his phone onto the counter. 3 years, Todd? With my best friend? It just happened. We never meant to. To what? To hurt me? To destroy our marriage? To make me look like an idiot? My laugh sounded hollow, even to my own ears. "You're never home anymore," he shot back. "Always at the office, always working. Peyton was there for me. Don't you dare make this my fault." I grabbed my purse from the counter. "I was working to build our future while you were destroying our present." My phone buzzed. Peyton's name flashed on the screen. Of course. Todd must have texted her. I answered on speaker. "Hey, bestie, calling to check if the coast is clear?" "Mara." Peyton's voice cracked. "I'm so sorry. We never meant for this to happen." "Funny how you both use the same lines. Must be all that practice talking to each other behind my back." "You don't understand," Todd interjected. "Your career always came first. You left us no choice." "No choice?" I whirled on him. "You had every choice. You could have talked to me, could have told me you were unhappy. Instead, you chose to sleep with my best friend." My phone buzzed again, Connor calling back about the job offer. In that moment, everything crystallized. "You know what? Keep each other. You deserve each other." I headed for the door, then turned back. "But remember this moment, both of you. Remember how you thought I was too focused on my career, too ambitious, too driven. Because I promise you'll remember it for a very long time." "What's that supposed to mean?" Todd called after me. I answered Connor's call as I walked out. "Connor, I'll take the job, and I'm not waiting until Monday. I'll start tomorrow." Todd followed me onto the driveway. "Mara, where are you going? We need to talk about this." I got into my car and rolled down the window. "I'm going to my sister's. Have your things out by the weekend? And Peyton?" I knew she could hear me through the phone, still clutched in Todd's hand. "Don't forget to pick up your stuff from my house. All those friendship bracelets we made, the photo albums, the matching coffee mugs, I'll leave them in garbage bags by the curb." As I drove away, I caught Todd's reflection in my rearview mirror, standing in our driveway looking lost. My phone lit up with messages from both of them, but I ignored them. Instead, I called my sister Erin. "Hey sis, got room for a house guest?" "Always. What's wrong? You sound weird." "I just caught Todd cheating with Peyton." "What? Those bastards? I'm opening wine right now. Come over." I smiled despite everything. "Thanks. Oh, and one more thing. I just accepted a VP position at Maxwell Corp." "Wait, what? In the same 5 minutes?" "Yep, funny how life works sometimes, isn't it?" As I drove toward Erin's house, my hands finally stopped shaking. The pain was still there, raw and burning, but something else was growing alongside it, determination. They thought I was too career-focused, too ambitious. Well, they hadn't seen anything yet. 3 months into my new job at Maxwell Corp, I was already making waves. My office overlooked the city skyline, a daily reminder of how far I'd come since that Tuesday morning when everything fell apart. "You're not going to believe what I just heard," Erin announced, barging into my office during lunch. She dropped into the chair across from my desk, practically vibrating with news. "What now?" I asked, not looking up from my laptop. Todd and Peyton's new consulting firm? It's tanking. They lost their biggest client yesterday. My fingers froze over the keyboard. How do you know? Small world. My colleague's husband works there. Or worked there, I should say. They had to let go of half their staff this morning. I leaned back in my chair, processing this information. I shouldn't care. But you do, Erin said, pulling out her lunch. And that's okay. You're human. A human who's their competition now, I reminded her, closing my laptop. Maxwell Corp just landed the Anderson account, the same one they were pursuing. Erin's eyes widened. No way, that's deliciously karmic. Ms. Johnston? Nancy from HR appeared in my doorway. The board meeting's been moved up to 2 o'clock. Thanks, Nancy, I'll be ready. I turned back to Erin. Speaking of work, I need to prep for this meeting. Connor and I are presenting our expansion strategy. Before I go, Erin said, gathering her things, promise me something? What? Don't let revenge become your whole life. You're doing amazing things here, but make sure you're doing them for yourself, not to spite them. I was about to protest when my phone buzzed, a text from Peyton. My first instinct was to delete it unread, but curiosity won out. Mara, please, we need to talk. Things aren't what you think. Delete it, Erin advised, reading over my shoulder. Nothing good comes from engaging. Instead, I typed back, things are exactly what I think. Good luck with the business. That's not engaging. Erin raised an eyebrow. That's closing a door, I corrected her, standing up to gather my presentation materials. Later that afternoon, I stood before the board, presenting our digital transformation strategy. Connor sat nearby, nodding encouragingly. Our research shows that by implementing these changes, we can increase efficiency by 40% while reducing costs by 25%, I explained, clicking through my slides. The Anderson account is just the beginning. Impressive work, Mara, the CEO commented after I finished. This is exactly why we brought you on board. As I walked back to my office, Connor caught up with me. Hey, heard about Todd and Peyton's company troubles. You okay? I stopped walking. How does everyone know about this? Business circles are small in this city, he shrugged. Plus, I may have kept tabs on them, for competitive reasons. Right, competitive reasons. I smiled despite myself. Listen, he said, lowering his voice. There's something else you should know. Word is they're trying to arrange a meeting with Maxwell Corp's subsidiary in hopes of a bailout. My stomach dropped. They wouldn't dare. They might not know you work here, he pointed out. Not everyone follows LinkedIn updates. Back in my office, I called Nancy. Can you pull the records of any meeting requests from Palmer Consulting Group? Already on it, she replied. They're scheduled for next week with the subsidiary's management team. Want me to block it? I thought for a moment. No, let it happen. But make sure I'm copied on all correspondence. That evening, as I worked late, some habits die hard, another text came through, this time from Todd. Mara, I know you're probably enjoying this, but people's livelihoods are at stake. We need help. I stared at the message for a long time before responding. Funny how consequences work, isn't it? My phone immediately rang. Todd calling. I declined the call and packed up my things, suddenly eager to leave the office. On my drive home, Erin's words from earlier echoed in my head. Was I letting revenge consume me? Maybe. But watching them struggle while I succeeded felt like justice served on a silver platter. My phone rang again. This time it was Alyssa, my mentor from my previous job. I hear you're making quite a name for yourself, she said when I answered. News travels fast. It does when you're doing things right. But remember what I taught you. Success is the best revenge, but only if you don't let it poison you in the process. I pulled into my driveway, looking up at my new house, smaller than the one I'd shared with Todd, but all mine. I know, I replied, but what if I'm good at both? Success and revenge. Alyssa's laugh crackled through the speaker. Then make sure you're excellent at both. Just don't lose yourself in the process. I ended the call and sat in my car, watching the sunset. Tomorrow I'd start planning for that subsidiary meeting. After all, Karma needed a little help sometimes. The annual Business Leadership Conference was the last place I expected to see Peyton. Yet there she was, hovering near the coffee station in a navy blue suit that I'm pretty sure used to be mine. Heads up, Connor muttered, appearing at my elbow. Your past is getting coffee at 2 o'clock. I see her, I replied, straightening my shoulders. Did you get the contract signed? Better than that, he grinned, passing me a folder. They're giving us full control of the digital transformation project. Budget's been increased by 30%. I flipped through the papers, a smile spreading across my face. This is huge, Connor. The subsidiary won't know what hit them. Speaking of hitting, he nodded toward Peyton, who was now making her way toward us. I braced myself for the encounter, but she veered off at the last moment, disappearing into the crowd. Ms. Johnston? Nancy approached quickly, tablet in hand. The subsidiary CEO just confirmed the meeting for next week. They're bringing their entire consulting team. Perfect. I handed her the folder. Get this processed immediately. I want everything in place before that meeting. Already on it. Oh, and Nancy hesitated. Todd called the office again, 3 times this morning. Let me guess. Still trying to move up the meeting? She nodded. He's getting desperate. Good. I checked my watch. Time for my keynote speech. Wish me luck. As I made my way to the stage, I caught glimpses of Peyton in the audience, phone pressed to her ear. Probably updating Todd on my presence here. Let them worry. Digital transformation isn't just about technology, I began, addressing the packed conference room. It's about adaptation, survival, and sometimes... I paused, making brief eye contact with Peyton, knowing when to step aside and let stronger players take the lead. The presentation went flawlessly. As I fielded questions afterward, I noticed Peyton scribbling furiously in her notebook, studying the competition, no doubt. Brilliant speech, a familiar voice said as the crowd dispersed. I turned to find Alyssa standing there, elegant as ever in her signature red blazer. Alyssa, I didn't know you were attending. Couldn't miss my protégé's big moment. She linked her arm through mine, leading me away from the stage. Though I notice you've developed quite an edge since we last spoke. Is that a bad thing? Depends on how you use it. She stopped walking, turning to face me. That dig about stronger players? A bit obvious, don't you think? Before I could respond, my phone buzzed with a text from Aaron. SOS. Todd just showed up at my office looking for you. He knows about the subsidiary deal. Excuse me, I said to Alyssa, quickly typing back, on my way. I found Aaron in the lobby of her office building, looking frazzled. He just left. He was not happy. What exactly did he say? That you're deliberately sabotaging their company. That you knew they were counting on the subsidiary contract to save their business. She ran a hand through her hair. Are you? They did this to themselves, I replied, but my voice lacked conviction. Mara. Aaron's tone held a warning. My phone rang. Connor again. Sorry, I need to take this. We've got a situation, he said without preamble. Peyton's been hired by one of our biggest clients. She starts next week. The floor seemed to tilt beneath my feet. Which client? Anderson, the one we just signed. Apparently she interviewed weeks ago, before their company started tanking. They just pushed through her paperwork. I ended the call and looked at Aaron, who was watching me with concern. Remember when you said karma works in mysterious ways? Yeah? Well, it just got a lot more mysterious. I showed her the text from Connor explaining the situation. Oh my God, she breathed. What are you going to do? My phone buzzed again. Another text from Todd. Just heard about Peyton's new job. Guess you'll have to deal with us whether you like it or not. I deleted his message and turned to Aaron. I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to lead. And if that leadership happens to make certain people very uncomfortable? I shrugged. That's just business. Back at the office, Nancy was waiting with more news. The Anderson team wants to move up Peyton's start date. They want her involved in the digital transformation project immediately. I sat down at my desk, a plan already forming. Tell them that works perfectly with our timeline. Are you sure? Nancy asked carefully. Given the history? I'm sure. I pulled up my calendar. Schedule a team meeting for tomorrow morning. It's time to brief everyone on our new situation. As I stared out my office window at the setting sun, I couldn't help but smile. They thought they knew what I was capable of. They were about to find out just how wrong they were. The Anderson team's conference room felt smaller than usual as I waited for Peyton's arrival. Nancy sat beside me, reviewing personnel files, while Connor paced by the window. Stop pacing, I said. You're making me nervous. I'm not the one who should be nervous, he replied, checking his watch. She's late. Of course she is. I straightened the papers in front of me. She always did like to make an entrance. Right on cue, the door opened. Peyton walked in, followed by two Anderson executives. She froze mid-step when she saw me, her professional smile faltering. "Welcome to the team," I said, standing. "Please, take a seat." Peyton's face went through several emotions before settling on forced composure. "Mara, I didn't realize you were involved with this project. As VP of Digital Transformation at Maxwell Corp, I'm involved with all our major projects." I gestured to the empty chairs. "Shall we begin?" The Anderson executives, oblivious to the tension, launched into their introduction. I watched Peyton try to focus on their words while shooting panicked glances at her phone under the table. "Ms. Gray will be leading our internal team," one executive explained. "We're excited about the fresh perspective she'll bring." "Fresh perspective is always valuable," I agreed, meeting Peyton's eyes, though experience tends to win out in the end. Nancy cleared her throat. "Perhaps we should review the project timeline?" For the next hour, we discussed milestones and deliverables. Peyton contributed little, her earlier confidence replaced by uncharacteristic silence. My phone vibrated. A text from Todd. "You planned this, didn't you? You knew about her job offer." I ignored it and continued the meeting. "We'll need daily progress reports from all team leads. That includes you, Peyton. I trust that won't be a problem?" "No," she said tightly. "No problem at all." After the meeting, Peyton lingered behind as others filed out. "Can we talk?" "We are talking. Privately," she insisted. I nodded to Nancy and Connor, who reluctantly left us alone. "You have to recuse yourself from this project," Peyton said as soon as the door closed. "This is a conflict of interest." "Is it? I'm not the one who created conflicts in this relationship." "That's not fair." "Fair?" I laughed. "You want to talk about fair? Was it fair when you and Todd went behind my back for 3 years? We never meant to hurt me. Yes, I know. You've said that before." I gathered my files. "But here's what you need to understand. This isn't about hurting you. This is business. I earned my position here. If you can't handle working under my leadership, you're welcome to resign." Her phone buzzed again, Todd's name flashing on the screen. "He's worried about you sabotaging my career." "Your career choices aren't my responsibility." I headed for the door. "Though I find it interesting that Todd's so concerned about your career when his own company is failing." Back in my office, I found Erin waiting. Saw Peyton in the lobby. She looked shell-shocked. "Good." "Mara, don't start," I warned. "This isn't about revenge anymore. This is about proving I'm better at this game than they ever thought I could be." My phone rang. Alyssa calling. "I heard about your interesting situation," she said when I answered. "How are you handling it?" "Professionally." "Really? Because I also heard about the meeting just now." "Experience tends to win out in the end?" I sighed. "You have spies everywhere, don't you?" "I have concerns everywhere," she corrected. "Don't let this situation compromise who you are as a leader." After hanging up, I noticed an email from the Anderson executives, praising how I handled the meeting and requesting an accelerated timeline for the project. "Nancy," I called out, "schedule daily check-ins with Peyton's team. I want to be involved in every aspect of this project." "Already done," she replied, appearing in my doorway. "Though you should know, Todd's downstairs in the lobby, demanding to see you." I walked to my window, spotting him pacing below. "Let him wait." "For how long?" "Until he realizes that he's not in control anymore." I turned back to my desk. "And Nancy, make sure security knows he's not to be allowed up." My phone buzzed with another text from Todd. "You can't ignore me forever. We need to talk about this situation." I typed back, "Actually, I can ignore you, and I will. Any concerns about the project can be addressed through proper channels." Erin appeared again. "You know this is going to get messy, right?" "It already was messy," I replied, watching Todd finally leave the lobby. "The difference is, now I'm the one holding all the cards." "And what are you going to do with them?" I smiled, thinking about tomorrow's first daily check-in with Peyton's team. "I'm going to play them perfectly, one by one, until they realize exactly what they lost when they underestimated me." The first week of daily check-ins with Peyton's team was going exactly as planned until Todd's bombshell dropped during Thursday's meeting. As you can see from the metrics, Peyton was presenting, her voice steady despite the dark circles under her eyes. "We're already ahead of schedule on the first phase." "Impressive," I noted, considering your team's initial resistance to our methodology. Before she could respond, Nancy burst into the conference room. Mara, you need to see this. She handed me her tablet, opened to a business news website. The headline made my blood run cold. Maxwell Corp subsidiary in talks to acquire Palmer Consulting Group. Meeting adjourned, I announced, standing abruptly. Peyton, stay. Once everyone else had filed out, I turned the tablet to face her. Did you know about this? Her face showed genuine surprise. No, Todd didn't tell me anything. Don't lie to me. Not again. I'm not lying. She ran her hands through her hair in frustration. Todd and I aren't exactly speaking right now. That caught me off guard. What? After I got this job, things changed. He became obsessed with using my position here to save his company. I refused. She laughed bitterly. Ironic, isn't it? He left you for me because you were too focused on your career, and now... My phone rang, Todd's name flashing on the screen. This time I answered. Surprised. His voice held a smugness I remembered all too well. How long have you been planning this? Long enough. Did you really think I didn't know you worked for Maxwell when I approached their subsidiary? He paused. I learned from the best, after all. You taught me the importance of strategic thinking. You son of a... Now, he interrupted. Is that any way to talk to your future business partner? I ended the call and turned to Peyton. What else don't I know? He's been planning this for months, she admitted. It's why we've been fighting. He wanted me to feed him information about Maxwell's operations. And did you? No, that's why we're not speaking. She stood up, gathering her things. I made one mistake, Mara. One horrible, unforgivable mistake. I won't make another. My phone buzzed with a text from Connor. Emergency board meeting in 10 minutes. They know about Todd's plan. Go home, Peyton, I said. Take the rest of the day. What are you going to do? My job. I headed for the door. Oh, and Peyton, thank you for telling me the truth. Finally. The board meeting was tense. I stood at the front of the room, facing the concerned faces of Maxwell's leadership team. This acquisition cannot happen, I stated firmly. Palmer Consulting Group is failing for a reason. Their methodologies are outdated, their client base is shrinking, and their leadership is compromised. You have personal history with the company's CEO, one board member noted. Yes, which gives me unique insight into their operations. I pulled up my presentation, and I can prove why this acquisition would be disastrous. For the next hour, I laid out every flaw in Todd's company, every failed project, every lost client. When I finished, the room was silent. Impressive analysis, the CEO finally said, but the subsidiary seems determined. Then let me handle the negotiations, I proposed. I know Todd's playbook. I can protect Maxwell's interests. My phone lit up with another text from Todd. Board meeting over yet? Ready to discuss terms? Before I could respond, Peyton called. Against my better judgment, I answered. There's something else you should know, she said without preamble. Todd's been falsifying his company's financial reports. I just found proof on his laptop. I put the phone on speaker. Say that again. For the board. After Peyton finished explaining, complete with details about where to find the evidence, the CEO stood up. Ms. Johnston, how would you like to handle this? I smiled, thinking of Todd's smug voice earlier. I think it's time we arranged that meeting he's so desperate for. Later that evening, as I prepared for tomorrow's confrontation, Erin called. Heard about Todd's master plan, she said. You okay? Better than okay, I replied, reviewing the documents Peyton had sent over. He thought he was playing chess, but he didn't realize he was using checkers pieces. Just be careful. When people get desperate, I know. I looked at my phone, where another text from Todd waited unread. But he forgot one important thing. What's that? I'm not the same woman he betrayed, and tomorrow he's going to learn exactly what that means. Todd strutted into Maxwell Corp's conference room like he still owned the world. That confidence lasted exactly 3 minutes and 27 seconds. Before we begin, I said, sliding folders across the table to him and his lawyers, you might want to review these documents. His smirk faltered as he opened the folder. I watched the color drain from his face as he flipped through the pages. Where did you get these? He demanded. Does it matter? They're your company's real financial reports, not the doctored versions you've been showing potential investors. His lawyer leaned over, whispering urgently in his ear. Todd's jaw clenched. "This is a private meeting," he said. "Ask everyone else to leave." "No," I replied simply. "Nancy, please read the minutes from our last board meeting." Nancy cleared her throat. "Motion to reject all acquisition talks with Palmer Consulting Group. Passed unanimously. Additional motion to pursue fraud charges if necessary also passed." Todd slammed his hand on the table. "You can't do this." "I already have." I stood up. "Your company isn't worth acquiring, Todd. It never was. You've been running it into the ground for months, hiding losses and falsifying reports." "You're enjoying this, aren't you?" he snarled. "Actually, no. I'm just doing my job." I nodded to security waiting outside. "These gentlemen will escort you out. Oh, and Todd, the SEC will be very interested in those documents." As security led them away, my phone buzzed with a text from Peyton. "Just heard what happened. Thank you for not mentioning my involvement." I typed back, "You did the right thing, eventually." Connor appeared in the doorway. "That was impressive. Brutal, but impressive." "It wasn't personal," I said, gathering my things. "It was business." "Right," he smirked. "Nothing personal about destroying your ex-husband's company. His choices destroyed his company. I just exposed them." Back in my office, I found Nancy waiting with more news. Peyton's requested a transfer to another project team. "Denied," I said, sitting down. "She stays where she is." "Are you sure that's wise?" "She's good at her job, Nancy. Despite everything else, she's actually delivering results." My phone rang. Aaron calling. "Just saw Todd being escorted out by security. You okay?" "I'm fine, but he's not." I looked out my window, watching Todd's car speed away from the parking lot. His lawyer's face when he saw those documents. "I don't think Todd's getting out of this one." "Good," Aaron said firmly. "He deserves—" A commotion outside my office interrupted her. Peyton burst in looking frantic. "I'll call you back," I told Aaron. "Todd's threatening to drag me down with him." Peyton blurted out. "He says he has proof I knew about the false reports." "Did you?" "No, I only found out recently, I swear." She collapsed into a chair. "But he's desperate, Mara. He'll say anything to save himself." I studied her for a moment. The woman who had been my best friend, who had betrayed me in the worst way possible, now looked completely broken. "Forward me any threatening messages he's sent you," I said finally. "My lawyers will handle it." She looked up, surprised. "You'd do that, after everything?" "I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do." I turned back to my computer. "Now, don't you have a project meeting to prepare for?" After she left, Nancy came in again. "The Anderson executives are thrilled with the project's progress. They're talking about expanding our contract." "Good. Set up a meeting for next week." I paused. "And Nancy, thank you for having my back through all of this." She smiled. "You know, when you first started here, I thought you were just another ambitious executive with something to prove. I was wrong. You're an ambitious executive who actually delivers." My phone buzzed with another text from Todd. "This isn't over. You have no idea what I'm capable of." I showed it to Nancy. "What do you think?" "I think he's about to find out what you're capable of." She headed for the door. "Want me to forward that to legal?" "Please." I looked at the time. "And call Peyton's team. Let's move up tomorrow's project review. If Todd wants to play hardball, let's show him how it's done." That evening, as I packed up to leave, Alyssa called. "Heard about today's excitement," she said. "How does it feel?" "Different than I expected," I admitted. "Less satisfying, more necessary." "That's called growth," she laughed. "You're not acting from a place of revenge anymore. You're leading." I thought about Todd's threat, about Peyton's fear, about the project's success. "You know what the funny thing is?" I said. "I actually have them both to thank for this. If they hadn't betrayed me, I might never have pushed myself this far. Now that," Alyssa said, "is what real victory looks like." The day of the final project presentation arrived with unexpected news. Nancy burst into my office just as I was reviewing my slides. "Todd's been arrested," she announced, tablet in hand. "SEC agents picked him up this morning." I sat down slowly. "What are the charges?" "Securities fraud, falsifying business records, and—" She scrolled through the article. "Attempting to blackmail a corporate officer." "Peyton," I breathed. Yes, apparently he tried to frame her for everything. Nancy looked up. The presentation starts in 20 minutes. Should we postpone? No, I said, standing. We've worked too hard for this. Get everyone to the conference room. The Anderson executives were already seated when I arrived. Peyton sat in the corner, pale but composed, her presentation materials ready. Before we begin, I addressed the room, I want to acknowledge the news about Palmer Consulting Group. I assure you it has no bearing on our project or its success. Peyton stood up. If I may? At my nod, she continued. I know many of you have questions about my involvement. I want to be clear. I chose to do the right thing, even though it was late in coming. The success of this project has been my only focus. The room was silent for a moment before one of the Anderson executives spoke. Well said. Shall we proceed? For the next hour, we presented our results. The digital transformation had exceeded all expectations, with efficiency gains of 45% and cost reductions of 30%. Remarkable work, the CEO of Anderson commented. Both the results and how you handled recent complications. My phone buzzed. A text from Aaron. Todd's being denied bail. Lawyers say he's looking at serious time. Ms. Johnston, one executive said, drawing my attention back. We'd like to discuss expanding this transformation across all our subsidiaries. Before I could respond, Peyton stepped forward. If I may make a suggestion, Mara, Ms. Johnston has developed a methodology that could revolutionize how we approach this expansion. I looked at her, surprised by the endorsement. Go on, the CEO encouraged. As Peyton outlined my strategy, I received another text, this time from Alyssa. Saw the news. Time for our talk? The meeting concluded with handshakes and promises of future collaboration. As everyone filed out, Peyton lingered. Thank you, she said quietly, for not throwing me under the bus with Todd. You did that yourself by choosing to be honest finally. I know it doesn't make up for anything, but... No, I interrupted. It doesn't, but it's a start. Nancy appeared in the doorway. Mara, Alyssa's waiting in your office. I found Alyssa sitting in my chair, looking out at the city skyline. Quite a view you've earned yourself? Earned being the operative word. She turned to face me. So, Todd's arrested, your project's a success, and your former best friend just publicly endorsed you. How does vindication feel? Different than I imagined, I admitted, sitting across from her. Because revenge wasn't really what you wanted, was it? Before I could answer, my phone rang. A call from the prison. Todd. I put it on speaker. Mara. His voice cracked. Please, you have to help me. Tell them I didn't mean to. Goodbye, Todd. I ended the call. Alyssa raised an eyebrow. That was new. What do you mean? The old Mara would have lectured him, rubbed it in. This Mara just let go. Nancy knocked on the door. Sorry to interrupt, but the board wants to see you. They're talking about a promotion. After she left, Alyssa stood up. Well? Well, what? What are you going to do now? You've achieved your revenge, surpassed your goals, and proven everyone wrong. What's next? I looked at the city sprawling below, at the empire I'd built from the ashes of betrayal. Now? I smiled. Now I lead. Not because of them, not to spite them, but because it's what I was always meant to do. My phone buzzed with a message from Peyton. Heading to give my statement to the SEC. Thank you for showing me what real leadership looks like. You know, Alyssa said, reading over my shoulder, sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about becoming so successful they become irrelevant, I finished. She nodded approvingly. Now that's the leader I always knew you could be. As I headed to the board meeting, I deleted Todd's number from my phone. Some chapters needed to stay closed. The future wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about something much more powerful. Success on my own terms. The morning newspaper sat on my desk. Todd's sentencing making headlines. Tech CEO gets 7 years for fraud. I closed the browser tab without reading further. Your 9 o'clock is here, Nancy announced from the doorway of my new corner office. And Aaron's online too. I picked up the phone. Hey sis, have you seen the news? I've seen enough. I shuffled through some papers. How about we talk about your promotion instead? Fine, change the subject, she laughed. But seriously, running the new digital division at Anderson, I still can't believe it. Believe it. You earned it. I glanced at my watch. Gotta go. Dinner tonight? Wouldn't miss it. My 9 o'clock turned out to be Peyton, looking professional but nervous in a charcoal suit. Thanks for meeting with me, she said, taking a seat. I wanted to tell you in person I'm leaving Anderson. I know. The Silicon Valley offer? She nodded. How did you? I wrote your recommendation letter. Her eyes widened. You what? You did good work, Peyton. Despite everything else, you proved yourself professionally. I leaned back in my chair. The past is the past. I don't deserve your forgiveness. This isn't forgiveness. It's closure. I stood up. Good luck in California. After she left, Connor poked his head in. Ready for the board meeting? They're expecting big things from their new CEO. They'll get them. I gathered my materials. How's the merger going? Smooth sailing. Palmer Consulting's clients are transitioning well to our services. Good. I paused at the door. Any word from Todd's old partner? Took the plea deal. He's testifying against Todd in the other pending cases. In the boardroom, I took my place at the head of the table. The familiar faces looked to me expectantly, no longer with skepticism, but with trust earned through results. Before we begin, I said, I want to address the elephant in the room. Yes, my ex-husband was sentenced today. No, it doesn't affect our operations. And yes, we're still on track to exceed our quarterly projections by 20%. The tension in the room dissolved into appreciative chuckles. Now, I continued pulling up my presentation. Let's talk about our international expansion. Halfway through the meeting, my phone lit up with a text from Alyssa. Lunch? We need to celebrate. Celebrate what? I typed back during a break. You, the real you, finally running things your way. After the board meeting, I found Nancy waiting with more news. The Anderson CEO called. They want to fast-track the joint venture. Schedule it for next week. I checked my calendar. And Nancy, take the afternoon off. You've earned it. So have you, she replied with a knowing smile. At lunch, Alyssa raised her glass. To karma. To hard work, I corrected her. Karma just helped point me in the right direction. Speaking of direction, she set down her glass. I hear you've been mentoring some young executives. Someone once taught me the importance of lifting others up. And now look at you, CEO, industry leader, and finally free from the weight of revenge. My phone buzzed. A message from Todd's lawyer about signing some final paperwork. I deleted it without reading further. You know what the best part is? I said to Alyssa. I don't feel anything anymore. No anger, no satisfaction in their downfall, nothing. They're just irrelevant. That's called healing. Back at the office, I found Erin waiting. Couldn't wait for dinner. Had to see my big sister, the CEO, in her new office. How does it feel being an executive yourself? I asked. Terrifying, exciting. She grinned. Everything you said it would be. You'll be amazing. I looked out at the city skyline, my view now even better from the top floor. We both will. Remember when you said karma works in mysterious ways? I was wrong, I replied. Karma doesn't work in mysterious ways. It works exactly as it should, rewarding hard work, integrity, and perseverance. And punishing those who deserve it? They punish themselves. I just succeeded despite them. My assistant knocked, reminding me of my next meeting. Before heading out, I took one last look at my office, at the evidence of everything I'd built from the ashes of betrayal. Ready? Erin asked. I smiled, thinking of how far we'd both come. More than ready. This is just the beginning. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about getting ahead and never looking back.